They told everyone I was the ungrateful daughter, said I stole from my sick mother, but the truth doesn't need to be loud. It just waits for the right moment to speak. I'm Zara. I'm 32 now, but this whole crazy story started when I was just a kid. My mom thought she could trick my sick grandma into changing her will. She thought she was so smart. She thought I'd never figure it out. Boy, was she wrong. So here's what happened. And trust me, you're not gonna believe this. My grandma Elena was basically my real mom growing up. My actual mom, Linda? Yeah, she was too busy gambling to raise me. Casinos, poker games, scratch-off tickets, you name it, she was addicted to it. While my mom was blowing rent money on slot machines, I was at grandma's house doing homework. While my mom was passed out after another all-night gambling spree, grandma was making me breakfast and driving me to school. Grandma had this beautiful old house on Maple Street. Big front porch, stained glass windows, the works. She bought it way back in 1967 when my grandpa died in Vietnam. That house was my safe place, you know? When I was 8, Grandma and I were sitting on the porch swing, and she said something I'll never forget. Sarah, sweetie, someday this house is gonna be yours. I want you to fill it with love like your grandpa and I did. I believed her. Why wouldn't I? Grandma never lied about anything. Fast forward 20-something years. Grandma's getting old, starting to forget little things. Nothing major at first, just misplacing keys or mixing up appointment times. That's when my mom suddenly became daughter of the year. I'm not kidding. This woman who maybe visited twice a year was suddenly there every weekend, bringing flowers, making tea, acting all concerned. It made me sick watching her fake it. But here's where it gets really messed up. My mom starts filling grandma's head with all this scary stuff about the government taking her house if her will isn't updated properly. Grandma starts telling me things like, your mother says my old will might not be legal anymore and she thinks you're too young to handle a house. Too young? I was 30 years old. Red flags were going off everywhere, but I didn't know how bad it really was yet. So I called Mr. Peterson, Grandma's lawyer. He'd been handling her stuff for like 20 years. He tells me the will is totally fine, everything's coming to me just like Grandma always promised, but then he said something that made my blood freeze. Your mother's been calling me a lot lately, Sarah. She's asking about what happens if your grandmother gets declared mentally incompetent. She wants to know about power of attorney stuff. I felt sick. This wasn't just greed, this was a plan. Then he dropped the bomb that changed everything. Your grandmother signed newspapers yesterday with a different lawyer. I wasn't there. I literally dropped the phone. I drove to Grandma's house going like 90 miles an hour. When I got there, my mom was sitting in the living room with this big satisfied smile on her face. Oh good, you're here, she says, all cheerful. I was just telling Mom how much better everything is now that we got her affairs sorted out properly. Grandma looked so small and confused in her favorite chair. She kept looking between me and my mom like she couldn't remember what just happened. Grandma, I said, trying to stay calm. What papers did you sign? She nodded, but her eyes were all foggy. Linda explained everything to me. She's gonna take care of the house for you when I'm gone. My heart stopped. What does that mean? My mom's smile got even bigger. It means I inherit everything, the house, the savings, all of it. But don't worry, honey. I'll make sure you get some jewelry or something. Family takes care of family, right? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My own mother had tricked my sick grandmother into giving her my inheritance. Where are these papers? I asked. My mom hesitated for just a second. They're with the lawyer. All legal and official, but I saw them sitting right there on the dining room table. Transfer papers, new will, power of attorney, all with Linda Mitchell's name on everything. She had stolen my entire future while Grandma was too confused to understand what she was signing. The worst part, Grandma kept looking at me with these sorry eyes, like she knew something was wrong but couldn't remember what. I think I signed something I shouldn't have, she whispered when my mom went to the kitchen. But Linda said it was best for everyone. That's when I knew this was straight up elder abuse. I hired a lawyer named Jennifer. Cost me almost everything I had saved up. She took one look at the timeline and shook her head. This is classic manipulation. she said, but proving it in court is gonna be really hard. Your mom was smart about it. She got a doctor to say your grandma was mentally okay when she signed. She used a real lawyer. Everything looks legit on paper. We fought for 2 whole months. I spent thousands I didn't have trying to prove my mom had manipulated grandma. But the new will was solid. My mom had covered all her bases. I'm sorry, Zara, Jennifer finally told me. Unless we can prove she outright lied or forced your grandmother, there's nothing we can do. So I had to watch my inheritance disappear. I had to sit at Grandma's funeral 3 months later while my mom played the grieving daughter in front of everyone. People kept telling her stuff like, "You were such a good daughter, Linda, and your mom was so lucky you took care of everything." I wanted to scream and tell everyone the truth. But what was the point? Grandma was gone and my mom had won, or so I thought. Within a month, my mom moved into Grandma's house like she owned the place. She threw away all of Grandma's furniture and brought in cheap junk from Walmart. She painted over the pretty wallpaper Grandma had picked out. She ripped up the rose garden Grandma had spent 30 years growing. It was like watching someone destroy a church. But then I started hearing things. My neighbor, Mrs. Rodriguez, called me up. "Zara, honey, I thought you should know. I keep seeing your mother at that casino downtown. She was there until 4 in the morning last Saturday. My cousin Jake sent me a photo from the racetrack." "Isn't this your mom? She was betting hundreds on every race." My mom was gambling again. Big time. I started paying attention. Really paying attention. She refinanced Grandma's house and pulled out $150,000 in cash. Just for improvements, she told people. But the house looked worse every month. My friend Ashley works at the casino. She pulled me aside one night. "Zara, I probably shouldn't tell you this, but your mom's been coming in almost every night. She's lost at least 50 grand into months. Management's starting to worry because she's getting desperate. $50,000 into months. My inheritance was going straight into slot machines." That's when I figured out what I needed to do. My mom was a gambling addict. And addicts always lose everything in the end. So instead of trying to stop her, I decided to wait and let her destroy herself. When she crashed, I'd be ready. I got a second job and started saving every penny. I opened a special account I called my Grandma Fund. I studied foreclosure laws and property auctions. While my mom was throwing away my inheritance, I was getting ready for when she'd come crawling back. 18 months after Grandma died, my phone rang at 2 in the morning. "Zara." My mom's voice was shaky and scared. "I need to see you right now. It's an emergency." I found her at Grandma's house surrounded by overdue bills and foreclosure notices. She looked terrible, skinny, shaking hands, dark circles under her eyes like a raccoon. "I'm in big trouble," she said right away. "Really big trouble. I owe people money and the bank's gonna take the house." I sat down at the kitchen table where Grandma used to help me with homework. "How much do you owe?" "About $150,000 total. 50 to the bank, another 100 to other people." "Other people?" "Yeah, right. Loan sharks. The kind who breaks your legs when you don't pay." The house was worth $300,000 when Grandma died. My mom had gambled away half my inheritance and was about to lose the rest. "Time for my big move. I'll help you out," I said real calmly. "I'll buy the house from you. Cash deal." Her face lit up like Christmas morning. "Oh, thank God, Zara. I knew you'd come through for me. You're such a good daughter. How much can you give me?" $50,000. The smile died instantly. 50? But Zara, it's worth 300,000. "Not anymore," I said. "It's worth whatever someone with cash in hand is willing to pay. Right now, that's me at 50,000. Take it or lose everything to the bank in 30 days. She started crying. Real tears for once. Not her fake manipulation tears. "This isn't fair. I'm your mother. I made a mistake. Everyone makes mistakes." I leaned forward and said what I'd been practicing for months. "You didn't make a mistake, Mom. You made a choice. You choose to trick a dying old lady. You chose to steal from your own daughter. You chose to gamble away money that was never yours. Now you get to deal with what happens next." I got up to leave. "You got 24 hours to decide," but then she tried one last manipulation trick. Your grandmother wouldn't want this. She'd want us to help each other. She'd want us to stick together as a family. I turned around real slow. This was the moment I'd been waiting for. Grandma wanted me to have this house. She promised it to me when I was 8 years old. She told me 100 times it would be mine someday. She never changed her mind. You changed her papers when she was too sick to fight back. So don't you dare tell me what Grandma would have wanted. Then I pulled out my phone and showed her something I'd been saving for exactly this moment. A video I took of Grandma 3 years ago, before she got sick. In the video, Grandma was sitting on her front porch, clear as day. I want everyone to know. Grandma said, "This house is going to my granddaughter Zara when I pass away. She's the one who really loves this place. She's the one who should have it." My mom's face went totally white watching that video. "Where did you get that?" "I recorded it during one of our regular Sunday visits. You know, back when you were too busy gambling to visit your own mother." The next day, my mom signed the papers. I paid her $50,000 cash and watched her pack her whole life into garbage bags. She went from inheriting a $300,000 house to walking away with barely enough to pay her debts. She moved into a tiny studio apartment and got a job stocking shelves at the grocery store. At 55 years old, she was starting over with nothing. Meanwhile, I moved back into my grandmother's house. My house. I spent the next 6 months fixing everything my mom had messed up. I stripped off the ugly paint and put back Grandma's pretty wallpaper. I tracked down pieces of Grandma's furniture that Mom had sold on Craigslist and bought them back. I replanted the rose garden with the same flowers Grandma used to grow. I fixed the hardwood floors Mom had covered with cheap carpet. I made it home again, but then I did something even better. I made the house into what Grandma always dreamed it could be. I opened my doors to family who needed help. My cousin Jake stayed with me for 6 months during his divorce. My teenage niece Emma spends summers with me, learning to cook and garden like Grandma taught me. The house is full of love and laughter again, just like Grandma wanted. 6 months after I bought back the house, my mom showed up at my door. "Zara, I've changed," she said, wearing her grocery store uniform. "I'm going to meetings now. I haven't gambled in months. Can I just stay here for a little while, until I get back on my feet?" I looked at this woman who stole my inheritance and had the nerve to ask for my help. "No, but I'm your mother. You were Grandma's daughter too. That didn't stop you from stealing from her when she was dying." But then she said something that proved she still didn't get it. "I could have sold the house to someone else, you know. I gave you a chance to buy it back." I almost laughed. "You didn't give me anything, Mom. You sold me back my own inheritance for way less than it was worth because you had no choice. The bank was about to take it and your loan sharks were probably ready to break your legs." I closed the door in her face, but then she started telling people I was the bad guy. She went around saying I took advantage of her addiction, that I stole the house when she was weak, that I was an ungrateful daughter. Some relatives who didn't know the whole story started giving me dirty looks. But then last week, my cousin told me Mom was still spreading lies about me stealing her house. So I did something that felt really, really good. I posted everything on Facebook, the whole story. I didn't use my mom's name, but I told everyone how someone manipulated my dying grandmother into changing her will, how they gambled away my inheritance, how they lost the house and I bought it back for cheap. I posted pictures too, the foreclosure notice, screenshots from the casino's website showing my mom's gambling activity, bank records showing all the money she took out. The post got over 200 comments in 1 hour. Everyone figured out exactly who I was talking about. And every single comment was on my side. "Good for you, Zara. She got what she deserved. Your grandma would be so proud. Don't let anyone make you feel bad for protecting yourself." My mom's victim story died real quick. Hard to play victim when everyone can see proof of what you did. But then the best part happened. 3 family members messaged me privately with their own stories about my mom. My aunt said Mom had borrowed $5,000 from her 2 years ago and never paid it back. My uncle said Mom stole jewelry from Grandma's house before the will was even read. My cousin admitted Mom tried to get him to lie about Grandma's mental state. Suddenly everyone realized my mom had been scamming the whole family, not just me. the last family gathering was really something. Everyone was polite to my mom, but the warmth was gone. People knew what she really was now. Meanwhile, everyone wanted to see what I'd done with Grandma's house. They looked at the restored rooms and the replanted garden. They sat on the porch where Grandma used to tell stories. "This is how she would have wanted it," my great aunt said with tears in her eyes. "You brought it back to life." Some people might think I was too mean. That family should forgive the family. That I should have paid my mom more for the house, but those people never had their inheritance stolen by their own mother. They never watched someone trick a confused old lady for money. They never had to buy back something that was already theirs. Those people probably never learned what I learned. Some things you just can't forgive. Some people only understand the consequences. And sometimes the best revenge is just letting someone mess up their own life and being ready to save what actually matters. My mom thought she was so smart tricking a sick old lady. She thought she hit the jackpot. She thought she could gamble with money that wasn't hers and somehow make it work. She was wrong about everything. I got my grandmother's house back. I got justice for what happened to her. And I got to watch my mom face the consequences of her own choices. My mom destroyed herself. I just made sure I was there to save what mattered. And you know what? That feels pretty darn good. Legacy isn't about money or houses. It's about keeping promises. It's about protecting what matters. It's about making sure good people get what they deserve. I kept my grandmother's real legacy alive, not just by living in her house, but by being someone she'd be proud of. Someone who doesn't let family walk all over them. Someone who knows that being related doesn't excuse stealing. My mom forgot those lessons. So she lost everything: the house, the money, her family's respect, and her relationship with me. And that's exactly what she deserved. Every night when I lock up my house, Grandma's house, I remember her sitting on that porch telling me it would be mine someday. It took 2 years and cost me a lot of money in lawyer fees, but I kept her promise alive. My mom can drive by all she wants. She can tell her sob story to anyone who'll listen. She can play victim until she dies, but at the end of the day, I'm the one sleeping in Grandma's house. I'm the one taking care of her garden. I'm the one keeping her memory alive the right way. And my mom? She's the one who chose money over family and lost everything because of it. Sometimes life gives you exactly what you deserve. And sometimes, if you're really lucky, you get to watch it happen. But you know what? This story isn't just about me getting my house back. It's about something way more important. If you're listening to this and someone in your family has betrayed you, maybe they stole from you, maybe they lied about you, maybe they threw you away when you needed them most, I want you to know something. You don't have to take it. I don't care if it's your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, or anyone else. Being family doesn't give someone the right to destroy your life. Being related to you doesn't mean they get to steal from you or manipulate you or treat you like garbage. You are worth more than that. Your dreams matter. Your future matters. And you have every right to protect yourself from people who want to hurt you, even if they share your blood. Sometimes the people who are supposed to love us the most are the ones who hurt us the worst. And when that happens, it's okay to walk away. It's okay to say no. It's okay to choose yourself over a toxic family. My grandma used to tell me, "Sarah, sweetie, family isn't just about blood. Real family is about people who love you, support you, and want to see you succeed." She was right. The family I have now, my cousin Jake, my niece Emma, my friends who've become like sisters, they're my real family. They're the ones who cheered when I got my house back. They're the ones who understood why I had to protect myself from my mom. So if you're dealing with someone who's supposed to love you but keeps hurting you instead, remember this. You get to choose who deserves a place in your life. Blood relation is just an accident of birth. Real love is a choice people make every day. Don't let anyone guilt you into accepting abuse just because you're related. Don't let anyone tell you that family forgives everything when they're the ones doing the hurting. And definitely don't let anyone convince you that setting boundaries makes you the bad guy. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is refuse to enable someone's bad behavior. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is let them face the consequences. of their choices. And sometimes protecting yourself is the only way to honor the people who actually loved you. My mom made her choices. She chose gambling over her daughter. She chose greed over her dying mother. She chose manipulation over honesty. And now she gets to live with those choices. I made my choices too. I chose to honor my grandmother's memory. I chose to protect what she wanted for me. I choose to refuse to be a victim. And I chose to build a life filled with people who actually care about me, which brings me to my question for you. What would you have done in my situation? Would you have paid your mom the full $300,000 for the house, even though she stole it from you in the first place? Would you have let her move back in when she came begging? Would you have kept quiet about what she did to protect the family's reputation? Or would you have done exactly what I did, used her own greed against her and made her face the consequences of her actions? I really want to know what you think. Because I'll tell you the truth, some days I wonder if I was too harsh. Some days, I think maybe I should have been more forgiving. But then I remember my grandmother's face when she was confused and scared, not understanding why her daughter was making her sign papers she didn't want to sign, and then I know I did the right thing. Drop a comment and let me know, was I justified in what I did to my mom? Or do you think I went too far? And if you've been through something similar with your own family, I want to hear your story too. Because I've learned that way too many of us have family members who think they can get away with anything just because we share DNA. It's time we start talking about this stuff. It's time we stop pretending that family toxicity is okay just because it's family. You deserve better. You deserve love, respect, and people who want to see you succeed. And if your birth family can't give you that, then it's okay to create your own family with people who can. Never forget that you have the power to change your story. You have the power to protect yourself. And you have the power to choose who gets to be part of your life. Trust me on this one, I'm living proof that sometimes the best revenge is just living well and refusing to let toxic people drag you down. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments below.